What's up, family and friends? Welcome back to another episode of DRABS. Dad reads a bedtime story. If you guys joined us last night, you realized that we were reading Forever Friends, Jasmine's big idea, and we cut out on chapter 6. So, without further ado, let's get right back into it. Chapter 6, Keiko's Surprise. The next Friday, Jasmine sat down for lunch in the cafeteria across from her best friends. She had told them earlier in the week that Madison would be helping with the carnival, and they were excited. I'm sure she'll have great ideas, Sophia said, and I've been working on sketches for the wanted posters, Keiko told them. I can't wait to see them, said Jasmine, remembering that Keiko had already texted one of the drawings to Madison. Hey, why don't you guys come to my house tomorrow morning before my mom drives us to the shelter? We could work on posters and decorations then. Keiko and Sophia exchanged a look. Oh, we actually don't need a ride to the shelter tomorrow, Keiko began. Oh, okay, Jasmine said, disappointed. Did they not want to come? But you still want to help out with the carnival, right? Jasmine asked. Of course we do, Sophia cried, a little too loudly. Keiko shook her head at Sophia. See? I told you Jasmine would know something was up. Keiko turned to Jasmine. I'm terrible at surprises. Surprises? Jasmine asked. What kind of surprise did her friends have for her? Keiko said enough, Sophia said, giggling nervously. You'll find out tomorrow. Okay, Jasmine said with a shrug. She hoped it was something good. It wasn't like her friends to keep things from her. Keiko patted Jasmine's hand. Don't worry, she told her friend. It will be worth the wait. You'll see. When Jasmine and her mom got to the shelter the next morning, Jasmine tried to prepare herself before she went in. What were her friends up to? Had they swapped outfits again like they did last April Fool's Day? Or maybe Keiko had drawn a portrait of Cookie as a surprise. There was only one way to find out. When Jasmine and her mom stepped inside the shelter, it was completely empty. There was no Keiko and no Sophia. Even Miss Wallace was nowhere to be found. Where is everybody? Jasmine wondered. Then they heard applause coming from the backyard. Jasmine and her mom made their way outside. Someone was leading Sadie around the yard. Jasmine blinked. That someone was Keiko. Her friend Keiko, who usually cringed when she came near even the most adorable puppies, was holding Sadie's leash. Keiko's grip was so tight Jasmine could see her knuckles turning white, but she had a huge triumphant smile on her face. Sadie looked calm and happy too. Jasmine peered past Keiko to see Sophia, Mrs. Wallace, and Madison standing on the far side of the courtyard, clapping and smiling. With each lap Keiko made, Madison shot her 2 thumbs up. Way to go, Keiko, she called. You've got this. On the third lap, Keiko finally noticed Jasmine standing there. Jasmine, check it out, she said. I'm walking the big dog here. The biggest dog here. Congratulations, Jasmine cheered, genuinely excited for her friend. But she was confused. When had Keiko decided to do this? Jasmine knew this was a big deal for Keiko. Why had she told Sophia but not Jasmine what she was planning? Jasmine and her friends always did important things together, especially anything involving animals. And why had Keiko and Sophia kept it a secret? Even Madison had known before Jasmine. She realized, her smile fading. Keiko handed Sadie's leash to Mrs. Wallace, then ran over and gave Jasmine a warm hug. Surprise, Keiko said. I know how much you wanted me to get over my fear of dogs, so we thought we would surprise you. It's wonderful, Jasmine stammered. I mean, I'm definitely very surprised. How did it happen? Well, I told Madison about my fear of dogs during art class, Keiko explained. Then she told me all about how you had helped her walk Frankie. She mentioned that some of the older dogs are so calm and gentle that they almost walk themselves. Then she encouraged me to try it. And it looks like I was right, Madison said, coming over and giving Keiko a high five. Madison met Sophia and me here earlier this week so I could practice, Keiko continued. I really wanted to impress you. I've been her personal canine cheerleader, Sophia said, grinning. Are you really surprised? Keiko asked, finally noticing the look of confusion on Jasmine's face. Definitely, Jasmine said, forcing a smile. She was happy for Keiko, but she still couldn't help feel like a little like a balloon with all the air let out of it. She'd always thought she'd be the one to help Keiko overcome her fear of dogs. As Jasmine knelt to give Sadie a hug around her big scruffy neck, though she realized it didn't matter. As Jasmine knelt to give Sadie a hug around her big scruffy neck, though she realized it didn't matter who got Keiko past her fear. The important thing was that she'd done it. Good girl, Sadie, Jasmine said, patting the dog's soft brown and white fur. Sadie panted heavily and pushed her big head into Jasmine's chest, her way of asking for more affection. Jasmine smiled. She scratched behind Sadie's ears. Then she stood up and smiled at Keiko. I couldn't have asked for a more amazing surprise. Chapter 7 Carnival Crafting. The next day, Jasmine's friends were coming over to work on carnival decorations. When Jasmine rushed to answer the doorbell, she was surprised to see Madison standing there next to Sophia and Keiko. Hey, Jazz, Sophia said. Sorry we're a little late. We stopped to pick up Madison. I thought we could use an extra set of hands. Sophia turned to wave at her mom, who honked twice before pulling off. Jasmine motioned for them to come in. Definitely, she said in a friendly voice. Hi, Madison. How's it going? Great, Madison cried as she walked past Jasmine and into the house. I can't wait to get started. This is going to be the best carnival ever. Jasmine hoped so. The girls spread out all their art supplies and poster board on the carpeted floor of the living room. First, we need to make posters to spread the word about the carnival and to advertise the pets who are up for adoption, Jasmine explained. Then we can decide on decorations. I had an idea, Sophia said. Maybe we can get lots of different colors in crepe paper and twist it into multicolored streamers to hang from the trees. Since it's a carnival theme, bright colors will work well. Oh, that sounds pretty, Madison said eagerly. I love rainbows. I can start drawing some of my dog's sketches on the poster if one of you can do the lettering, Keiko said. I'm not great at pictures, but I can do pretty good bubble letters, Sophia offered. Madison rummaged around in the backpack. And I brought a bunch of glitter glue pens, she said, pulling out a handful of sparkly tubes. These will be great. All right, Keiko exclaimed as she began drawing. Soon, Keiko, Sophia, and Madison were all busily hunched over the poster boards, drawing, lettering, and glittering. Jasmine wasn't sure what to do. There didn't seem to be space for her around the posters, so she took out a piece of paper and tried brainstorming ideas for other decorations. That looks awesome, Madison said as Keiko handed her a poster with a drawing of a dog under Sophia's bold lettering. I'll just add some glitter glue and it will be done. Nice, Sophia said. Everything is better with sparkles. Jasmine twirled her hair as she looked down at her paper, trying to come up with ideas, and trying to shake the feeling that her friends preferred hanging out with Madison to her. Hey, what do you all think of the balloons as decorations? Jasmine asked. Maybe Mrs. Wallace could get a big balloon arch for the carnival entrance. Madison looked up from her work, her face serious. Balloons are fun, but if some flew off, they might end up in the trees or in a lake somewhere, she said thoughtfully. That wouldn't be good for the birds, fish, and other animals. Oh, of course, Jasmine said quickly, her cheeks turning red. She had been so concerned with impressing her friends with her ideas that she had forgotten about the most important thing, the animals. At that moment, Cookie wandered over to Jasmine and climbed into her lap for a snuggle. He always seemed to know when Jasmine was feeling down and needed some cheering up. Nothing made Jazz feel better than a good puppy cuddle. Your dog is the cutest, Madison said. Then she scooted over and gestured to Jasmine to join her. I could use some help with this glitter. Which color do you want to use? Red would work, Jasmine said, giving Madison a grateful smile. Then she picked up Cookie and placed him next to her so she had some room to work. She felt better already. That night after dinner, instead of hanging around for dessert, Jasmine went to her room. She gazed at the bulletin board filled with photographs of her, Sophia, and Keiko. She smiled at the photos from Halloween when they had all dressed up like cats, with fake whiskers sprouting from under their noses. They'd always been so close, but lately things seemed different, and Jasmine had to admit it bothered her. To take her mind off her friends, she decided to make some more carnival decorations on her own. When she concentrated on the needy animals at the shelter, her worries seemed smaller. Hi, honey, her mom said, popping her head into Jasmine's room. How's it going in here? All set for the carnival next weekend? Jasmine shrugged. Yeah, I guess, she said. Her mom stepped into the room, taking a seat on Jasmine's bed, which was covered with a baby blue comforter, Jasmine's favorite color. Is everything okay, Nina? She asked. You hardly said a word during dinner, and you haven't said goodnight to Cookie. Jasmine could never hide anything from her mom. Ever since she was little, her mom could always tell what kind of mood she was in. Can I tell you something? Jasmine asked her mom now. Of course, Dr. Arroyo said. You can tell me anything. Jasmine stared at the floor. I think Sophia and Keiko like Madison more than me. What makes you say that? Her mom asked. I thought you were all friends. Jasmine nodded. We are. That's why I haven't said anything. She looked down, embarrassed. You know, friends don't have to do everything together, her mom pointed out. Jasmine looked up at her mom in surprise. They don't? She laughed softly. No, I realize you, Sophia, and Keiko are used to doing almost everything together. But sometimes it's okay to give people a little space. But they're still your friends. Are you sure? Jasmine asked. Her mom squeezed her hand. I'm positive. If they weren't, they wouldn't be working so hard on this carnival for the shelter. That's more your cause than theirs, and they wouldn't be helping if they didn't care about you. Jasmine studied her mom's light brown eyes. Maybe you're right, she said. Jasmine was too tired to talk about it anymore. She gave her mom a hug as she stifled a yawn. Thanks, Mom. Jasmine turned off her desk lamp and climbed under the covers. Oh, I forgot one last thing. Here, Cookie. A minute later, the dog appeared at the door. Jasmine's mom picked him up and laid him on the bed. Cookie yipped, turned in a long circle, and burrowed under the covers next to Jasmine. Jasmine smiled. Dogs are the best, she thought. Cuddling with Cookie always made her feel safe and warm. This thought reminded her that there were a lot of stray dogs out there who needed homes of their own, or at least a safe place at Rose's Refuge until a permanent home could be found. And it was up to Jasmine and her friends to help them. All right, that ends chapter 7. Next one is chapter 8, A Major Mistake, and Jasmine's Big Idea. I think we'll go ahead and stop there. That's about 10 or 15 minutes, which is about the perfect time for a bedtime story. Thanks, you guys, again for joining us on Dad Reads a Bedtime Story. See you guys tomorrow night. Thanks.